You know what a straight line is. You know how water flows, right?
Yep,
You start with
and I
that.
know,
Basics.
but see, then we get back to that day before yesterday, the conversation about because the surface drops away from your feet, that the water should flow, and that's not correct according to our model. That's just curvature is not a change in elevation and wouldn't cause water to flow.
That's what I want people to hear. Exactly. That's broken logic. What you just said now, left lane, is broken logic. You're saying you can have elevation change
Nope.
without water flow.
No, I didn't. I
Yep.
said the exact opposite of that. I said curvature is not elevation change.
That's almost as bad. Yeah. It's yeah. I mean, how? If you have we established a benchmark, right? We get a benchmark. This is our point. We level it off, it's level, it's horizontal. Now you're saying if we have elevation change from that spot, water will not flow?
Nope. The fact that you're standing on top of
That's
a big
how.
sphere and the surface is going to fall away from you in all directions, that is not an elevation change. That's curvature.
You see, that's what people need to hear. That's what regular people need to hear. That can't happen in reality. What you just said. That's what I was trying to get the guy yesterday to say.
Well,
But
if you're standing on
somebody
a big
came
ball,
in.
on a basketball, you say you're standing on a big basketball and the surface is curving away, and it's got this force, this attractive force that holds everything to it, and it's like I don't know how to explain it to you where you're missing it, but to say that curvature is a change in elevation is strawmanning the model.
That's what it appears, but it's not. In reality, it's nonsense. You can't even make that argument in your model. This is what I'm trying to show people. Even in your model, you cannot make that argument
Of course, I can.
because
We got
of
we
water.
got
Water
gravity.
kills you. You
Gravity
can't.
gravity has equal potential at level at sea level. It's all holding the water to the surface, and the surface is gonna follow the shape of the planet.
You can just say that, but everybody here knows that if you have elevation change from a point that you establish, a benchmark, everybody knows that water is going to flow.
Yeah,
Everybody here,
elevation
even the
change.
ballers, but you guys, you got to make your brain. You can't
Elevation.
even let me finish. I
Elevation.
know.
Okay, I thought I keep hearing a cut. I don't know
I
if you're
know.
cutting or what.
I see.
Oh, my bad. Anyways, go on. I was just, yeah, elevation change, water flow, period. No way around that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's the same on both models.
You can cause water to flow by surveying out a change in elevation, cutting a ditch, and having it drop in elevation. But that's not what curvature
Yeah.
is.
If you've got to
That's
lie
what
about
you,
the model,
exactly.
actually,
That's what,
you need to go back to the drawing board.
no, I love this. You just keep telling me about your model.
You
You
love
keep
lying.
telling me about
Why?
how in your model you can have elevation change without water flow. That needs to be heard. That's
Why
the
do you love
whole
lying about
argument.
other people's models?
I'm not lying.
You
I'm
are.
just saying it how it
You've been
is.
in this
Show
for
me.
years.
Okay.
You've been in this for years. You're very witty and you're smart enough to know elevation and drop isn't the same thing on our model. So why do you pretend
Okay. Can you demonstrate
as
this?
an adult?
We're on your model now, right? Can you demonstrate this? Show me elevation change on your model without water flowing. Go ahead.
I
Don,
agree
left
water
lane,
flows.
anybody. That's your
I agree
challenge.
water flows because of
Should you
elevation.
choose to accept it?
I agree water flows because of elevation. Waterfalls.
You know, like Mission Impossible, when they give the guy the tape and he watches and then it burns at the end. That's your mission. Left lane, Don. Should you choose to accept it? Show us Elevation change without water flow, without water flowing.
Well,
Well, I
did you
don't
just ignore what I
understand.
said? I told you the
Yeah,
answer, and why are you repeating it as if I didn't? When it's just us talking. How rude. What's wrong with you?
What happened? What did I do?
I answered your query and your straw man with reasoning. You just ignored me and stated it again as a challenge, as if I didn't say anything.
Yeah, you
Why?
said in our
Why did you
model A,
do
B,
that?
and C happens.
Who are you talking to? If you're just talking through me and using me, who are you talking to?
Did
It's
you
fucking
did you have an
weird.
extra strong coffee today, Don?
Yeah, I've got a strong coffee now. It helps me call out liars. It's like special juice.
So tell us again how you can have
I'm gonna say it
elevation
a third
change
time.
without
Fuck
water
off.
flow
Fuck
in
you,
your
you
model.
lying cunt.
Holy cow. You see what water does to people? How
well, no,
illogical.
see, I told you straight up, curvature is not elevation change. And you keep asking me to show you water that doesn't flow with elevation change. And I'm telling you curvature is not elevation change. And then you repeat it back again, like you didn't hear me say it. I don't understand your argument. It's like you're you're like trying to
Always
stick.
does the same thing.
I don't
He's
know.
strong man.
Yeah.
So
He always does
curvature
that.
is not elevation change. Let's get this straight now. I can establish a level surface, and then that surface curves. And you're telling me that's not change in level. That's what you're trying to convince me, right? And everybody else here. And you think I'm being unreasonable.
Yeah. Within our model, the curvature as the water falls away from you is not a change in elevation. That's level water.
Okay, you can keep saying that and you can keep believing that, but everybody listening here knows that that cannot happen. Water destroys your model. It's as simple as that, bro. You can say to people that water curves around something, but it does not.
It does.
Water flows on a curve or an elevation change. There's nothing that you can say that could change that. You could just say, my model, that's it.
Water curves.
You can't speak for everyone here, Essie. Sorry.
Correct me if I'm wrong in what I said about your model.
You are wrong.
You're saying curvature is elevation change, and it is not.
Well, show it to me then. Show me something curving in reality without changing elevation.
Soundly.
Soundly?
Mm-hmm.
The man that says there's a 90-foot hump and elevation at my feet, he told me that personally. He told me if I stand on one side of Lake Rakia and he stands on the other side of Lake Rakia, Lake Pontchartrain, right? Which is 24-mile distance, he told me that there's a 90-foot hump of water. That soundly?
Yeah. What's wrong with
Yeah.
that?
So which is it?
What's wrong with that?
So there's a 90-foot change. There's a 90-foot hump of water between me and him, and there's no elevation change?
Well, it's not really a hump. That's the sagitta if you drew a cord between two observers standing at the edge of the water on each side and you drew a cord line between the two, it would dissect the surface and that sagitta would be 90 feet.
Is the chord line straight?
And a cord line is a straight line between 2 points.
Right. So I got my toes on the beach. He's got his toes on the beach. We've got a straight line between us. How could there be a 90-foot hump of water on top of us?
If you're standing on the beach, you won't be seeing each other.
Yeah, but in the middle, at 12-mile point, he told me there's a 90-foot hump of water, like a 7-story hotel building.
Yeah.
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 So how does that happen without elevation change?
That's curvature.
You see, bro? It's your model. Just your logic is broken.
Why do you ask? Why do you act like I
There's
didn't
no way
answer
you can
you? I
explain
answered
it.
you with one word answer: curvature. That's the answer, and you act like I didn't answer.
Curvature. Yeah, but left lane, you said there's a straight line between our toes, right?
Well,
If
Right?
do you have to
And you
you have to
also agree.
imagine that?
geez. So Essie, it's in relation to the surface. So if you have a balloon, the surface of the balloon, the actual rubber part of the balloon would be what they consider the surface. And anything that you would stick on that balloon would be considered elevation, right? Above that surface and or below if you decided to have things on the inside of it. But they set what they call uh, mean sea level around this whole entire surface. And they say anything above or below is plus or minus elevation based on that in regards to the whole entire shape. Then there's another side of that that says, hey, we're all on a realm that is planar. We also have elevation. We use the same thing called mean sea level. Ours just happens to be more resembling a tabletop than a balloon. And any deviation above or below what we set as mean sea level, which would be, if we have divots in the table which are filled with water, but then we have things that stick above the surface of the table or above the water line. That's what we call positive elevation. Anything below the mean sea level is negative elevation. It's the same thing. It's just shape dependent. They're just talking about the surface. Their surface just happens to be on a different shape. There is no contention here, I don't think.
Yeah, but if you take the water
Oh, there's
out,
a big contention.
if you take the water
You
out,
missed
then
one part. In their model, there's constant drop as well. So
Yeah, but you're
there's
doing
a dichotomy there.
you're doing an elementary new to flat earth mistake of trying to associate the drop of the surface with a drop in elevation, which isn't the case, because on their model they establish the surface with the mean sea level, meaning that any deviation above or below that based on your relation to that surface would be elevation increase or decrease, not because the shape is curving away from you that somehow is drop in a way that it would be like a decrease in elevation, because in their model it's all relative, right? It's relative to the point in which you're trying to measure.
On the contrary, sir, you're the one that's making the elementary mistake, getting Stockholmed by their beliefs. In their model,
Getting
there's no way
Stockholm
around
by
it.
their beliefs,
Everything
but
drops. Let me finish.
you need to understand it before
You
you can
accused
try
me
to
of making a
refute it.
baby flat earth mistake in the beginning of your conversation, did you not?
Yeah, because you are.
Okay, now it's my turn. Now, you are the one making the mistake. You're Stockholmed. You have bought into the model, right? Their model states that if you're on water, it starts dropping everywhere around you constantly. But at the same time, they have a hump. Do you understand that?
I don't think you understand it.
No, you don't understand it. I understand how water works perfectly. Water,
Everything drop here. I'll
is
explain it
level and
to you.
horizontal.
We'll
No,
we'll
let me
use your
finish. I'm
example.
talking now. In their I'm
Okay.
talking now, bro. Don't interrupt me. Okay? In their model, the water drops all around you constantly. But
Yep.
at the same time, if they have two people away from each other, there's two drops and that drops becomes a hump. You get that?
Yep.
Okay, so which is it now? Who's
The
right?
hump is not an
Where's
increase in elevation.
reality?
Do you want to let me respond?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, because what you're calling a hump is not a difference in falling away. It's not an increase in elevation, because they're drawing a straight line through the surface, meaning that straight line is below what they establish as their surface baseline or their mean sea level. So their surface, right? This would be like taking a pin and poking it through the balloon and having it come out on the other side. So we're talking about the surface of the balloon being all one mean sea level, right? An increase above it, a decrease below the surface of this balloon would be an increase or a decrease in elevation. Now, what they're saying is they're taking like a pin, a long pin, sticking it through the balloon and having it come through the other side, and that's what they're establishing their straight line with. And what you're calling a hump is still the same portion of the balloon, which is their surface, which is they're measuring plus or minus from as far as. So it's not like it establishes an increase in elevation because you poked the pin through that, because the elevation is based off the surface to begin with.
Okay, I see what you're saying, and I understand their thing. Okay, point where you envision the pin pricking, right? There should be a rise there, right?
No, it's always a
Right.
drop.
With a rod,
No, because the
there's
pin
always a drop.
is going down. The pin is the pin poking through the balloon. That pin is always, it's going to be a decrease in elevation as it goes through halfway, and that as it reaches that halfway point, it starts to increase its elevation back towards the mean. So when it pokes out the other side,
Oh my
it's
God! You know
poking
what you
right at
just?
the mean. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
The center point of that.
You know what you just described, bro? Do you realize what you just described? It's called a double drop hump.
No,
You
I just
just
Where'd you say
envision
go
I don't know
ahead?
if
a
you
baller's view.
I don't know
What?
if you just don't comprehend what they're trying to say. Like, in order to refute somebody's model, you have to fully understand it. You have to understand it fully, meaning you have to be able to argue their vantage point and then
That's what
refute
I'm
it.
doing, but you're not getting it. I'm in their model now.
So is the hump in between the two observers an increase in elevation based on their model?
It would have to be in order to block your vision, bro. Do you not understand logic?
Then you don't understand their model.
Do you not get it?
Thank you.
No, it's fuck their model. Their model doesn't work. That's what I'm trying to show you. In their model. In
Well,
their
at least
model, they have
figure out a way
dropped.
to argue it correctly, because the way that you're arguing it is not going to refute their model. It just shows your lack of comprehension of their model. I'm sorry.
No, dude. Comprehension of water and how water works. This is what I'm showing right now. You have no clue what you're talking about. You envision somehow water dropping and forming a hump. You're Stockholm, bro. You're model afflicted.
Dude, I never
This is what's
said that.
happening to you right now.
I explained what the alternative was, right? I didn't say that I think anything about their model is based on reality. I just have to fully comprehend what their claim is on their model, which is why I can repeat it back to you, right? Your refutation needs to have the proper language so that they can comprehend what you're refuting. Otherwise, they're just going to come back and say, no, there's no increase in elevation. That's mean sea level. Water's not going to
Bro, I
flow
don't care what
this
they
way or
say.
that way based on this alleged increase in elevation that you're talking about, because there is no increase in elevation, because our elevation is based off the mean sea level, which is in our model, me being them, for devil's advocate, is curving. So it's your lack
Bro.
of their model. You need to come at it a different way. I'm just
No.
Can I give my 2 cents real quick, please?
Hold on, bro. Hold on. No,
right.
no, not now. I'm doing it the correct way. I'm exposing both ballers and flat earthers of their miscomprehension of the model. And you are a prime example right now. You just described a double drop hump without realizing it, bro. It's you that has to work on the way you're thinking about this, not me. I'm serious.
nope.
The double drop hump is a perfect example of your misconception.
Amen, brother.
You
Preach
see?
on.
Yeah? My friends, water only flows one way, right? You can't change it no matter what model you go into. You cannot change the flow of water. Water destroys their whole thing. You can't have water both dropping and humping. You can't have that. The sooner you realize
No,
that,
no one
the
says it
sooner
yet.
you realize that their model is ridiculous.
Drop
And
in
you can
relation
argue
to
it
what?
You were
in
doing
their
this yesterday.
model.
You were straw manning the globe model yesterday, saying that if it's curvature and it drops, there's water flow there. But nowhere in the model does it say that it flows.
You see, now I have both ballers and flat earthers against me. This is beautiful. That's exactly what I wanted. You see, you guys are on the
I
same
understand the
side as
properties.
the ballers. Listen up, flat earthers. Listen up.
That's because you keep interrupting everyone. Straw manning.
See,
Yeah.
I'm with you on that one. No, don't pull. I'm a flat earther.
So
I love
who
you,
just said
brother.
that? Who just said that? That they're with SE on this one?
Silent
Silent.
zero. I always challenge that notion about the ether and all. It's the same thing if you think about it.
Yeah.
Just
So
different
silent zero.
relation.
So can in the globe model, what is the datum line that the globe uses for an increase and a decrease in elevation?
He's asking for sea level, I think.
I think he
He's
can answer.
asking, what are you saying? I didn't understand a couple words that you said there. Can you repeat that question?
Yeah, I'll change the verbiage. What is the baseline that the globe model uses for elevation change, meaning an increase or a decrease in elevation? What is their baseline?
I don't know. I would.
It's
Is
mean
the
sea
sea
level.
level?
Yeah, sea level. So in the globe model, if you were to map out sea level and just sea level, no increase or decrease in elevation above or below sea level, what overall shape would you get in the globe model?
We can't get a globe.
You would get a sphere, perfectly smooth sphere.
Would you?
In the
In their
globe
model,
model.
yes.
In
In
the
their
globe
model,
model,
yes.
that's important.
Extremistus, I don't need you to chime in.
I just want to
Nah,
reiterate.
Unless
yeah,
I'm
in my
straw.
head,
Hold on. Am I straw manning your model, Extremistus?
Oh, I
No,
just
you're
want
doing
to
good.
reiterate.
Okay. I'm steel manning your model, right? If I deviate from that, let me know.
Keep going.
Okay. So if in the globe model, you want to establish a baseline for an increase or a decrease in elevation, they use what they call mean sea level. They map mean sea level into a sphere, what would be a perfectly smooth ball. So any dimple would be a divot or a deviation below that mean sea level, and any opposite of a divot, any hump, right, that you would feel on the surface of that ball would be an increase of elevation above what they call mean sea level. The contention is to what is the overall shape of the surface. In their model, they have a curving surface all the way around, this perfect sphere as set by mean sea level with increases and decreases in elevation. They say that water flows based on not only strictly based on elevation change. And the reason you don't have a flow of water, away from any point that you're standing is because their idea of gravity is a pulling towards the central point of that sphere, which allows for every point on the outside of that sphere, on the surface of that sphere, to have some sort of pull straight down that doesn't allow for flow in any specific direction on the ball. It's just stuck to the ball. So only elevation increase or decrease and elevation change on that sphere causes water to flow. I don't agree with that model. To me, it makes more perfect sense that we live on what would be considered an overall flat surface, still having this mean sea level as our datum point or our baseline, and an increase or a decrease of elevation above that sea level would be what we would call elevation. And water would flow anywhere on that surface based on any type of elevation change, because everything is the properties of water are allowing it to lay flat and level. The same thing, just you don't have a central point in which all things are being pulled. You just have a very definitive up and down for everybody. In their model, up and down changes the minute you take a step. Every single step you take, up and down changes. Did I straw man anybody's model within that?
Yep.
I mean, up and down in the globe model would be more accurately described as in and out, I think.
Yeah. But we use the terms up and down. And so
yeah.
when you're standing
There's
on
a good
that
reason
ball,
for that, but anyway, carry on.
Yeah. So when you're standing on that ball, anywhere you're standing on that ball, you are on the top, meaning everything in their model is curving away from you no matter where you're standing. Right? Their baseline mean sea level, that is curving away from you no matter where you're standing on that ball. So there is no actual hump, meaning an increase in elevation between you and somebody on the other side of a lake. They are just, if you picture yourself on the top, they are slightly more to the side. They are down from you from an orthographic view. They are down from you, but they are residing upon, if you're both standing on each end of the lake, you're both residing on what they would consider the same baseline, because their baseline is curved. So to the other person, if you slide them up to the top, you slide down to the side. There is no deviation there. There is no quote unquote hump. The only hump that you would have in their model is drawing a line between the arc that is allegedly in between them, but their arc is the datum baseline, which they say is the surface. Any traversing across what you would call the hump would be a change in your down, meaning it's always going to be held in that direction. They don't have much support to substantiate this claim, but that is their claim.
Okay, that was good. I have one small distinction with that. When you said that everywhere you stand, you're on top of the surface, there's really not a top anywhere, but minor distinction, whatever.
Right, but from your vantage point, everything is curving away from you. So if you
Yes,
want to
so
think of if you want to think of it in relative terms, everything below your feet is, as you go outward from you, is arcing downwards in the same relation that down is below your feet.
Okay, I can live with that.
Okay.
Now, I want
I
to
can
hear
make
SC's
complete
response.
ridicule of this in 2 minutes.
This is going to be good.
I can rebut that like laughingly.
So tell
I
me
can
where
rebut that.
yeah.
Very
If
simply.
you want to rebut it, tell me where I went wrong in properly articulating their model. Not where their model is incorrect against reality, but where I went wrong in articulating their model.
In their model now, sure. This is now a fantasy, right? Me and you, we're on two boats. In their model, it's a curved surface. We're 5 miles apart. We can't see each other, right? Because of what in their model?
Curvature.
Because there is curvature. You have
Okay, so that would be water. Water is blocking our view, right?
correct.
Correct. So We're
That's
5 miles
really all
apart.
I
There's curvature and there's water blocking our view. Okay, now in their model, right, is the water starting to curve down at your boat, at my boats, where my boat is at?
Yes.
Napalm. Yes. In your side, where you're at, in your boat, is the water in their model dropping down from your side?
Yes.
So we have water dropping down from me and from you, right?
Yes, but it's
But
not
yet,
dropping in
somehow,
elevation.
hold on, but somehow that water that's dropping in the middle between me and you and the 2.5 mile mark, let's say, that's where the water is blocking us. So that must mean the water is both dropping from me and from you, but somehow when it reaches in the middle, it's higher and it's blocking our view. Is what you're trying to tell me and the same people in this world in their model?
No.
So what are you saying then? What's blocking the view in their model?
It's not a matter of higher or lower, because you would have to use some sort of baseline or datum point to say higher or lower from. So when we say that the water is dropping away from you, yes, it would be dropping away from your, if you were to look perfectly straight, like laying a ruler on top of a basketball, right? That ruler is going to go off into space. So effectively, if that ruler is your baseline, yes, the water is dropping away from you in all directions. Within their model, the water is
How? Wait a
the
minute.
baseline.
Oh, whoa,
So
whoa,
any
whoa. Hold on. You said you put a ruler on a basketball going up. How is the water dropping between you and the other person on the other side of the basketball?
it's
Wouldn't it be
dropping away,
dropping backwards from you?
it's dropping from, if, like I said, if you place that ruler on the basketball, right, that ruler is going to go off into space. It's not going to follow the surface of the basketball, right?
Okay, you have a ruler in space. Yep.
Yep. So when you say
What next?
there's two boats, right? We're in a boat, or I'm in a boat, you're in a boat. In my boat, that water in relation to my ruler in the boat is dropping away from me in all directions. Same is happening for you in your boat. That water is dropping away from you in all directions. So when we say up or down or increase or decrease in elevation, that is only in relation to the water itself. The water in their model is in the shape of a ball.
Okay. It's in the shape of a ball. You're on one side, I'm on the other. We have water blocking us. That means the water is above us to block us. It cannot be dropping in between us. Do you
What is
understand? Your basketball, right? There's no drop in between the two boats, is there? There's a
No,
hump there, right?
it's a constant drop.
It's a constant drop that becomes a hump. Bro, get
Right.
out of the model.
You would
Seriously, like I
have to be
like you, but bro, you just explained double drop hump.
no, no, it's not.
I've been making fun of that for years, bro. For
It's
years.
not. It's not a double drop hump. I mean, I don't know that this is
That's
something that
what it is.
UE uses incorrectly. It's not a double drop hump
Hold on.
because
That's not QE's. Excuse me. That's my argument. It's not
okay,
QE's.
sorry. I'll let you take the
Understand
incorrect
that.
argument.
It's
We
my
can put your
argument.
signature on it if you want. That's fine. If you want to claim it.
That's exactly what I want. Yes.
Yeah. So when you're talking about in their model something being non-visible due to this dropping away over distance, the reason that you would see a what you would perceive as a double drop is because you're having to focus your eyes downward. Your eye line or your horizontal is no longer this ruler that is just straight off into space. You're now having to angle your ruler towards the other boat. And when you do that, the ruler isn't going to be able to go to that other boat unless it passes through the basketball. That's where you have
The
this
hump of water.
Yeah.
Bro, there's no way around it, man. A ruler is not
There's
going to
no way
save
around
you
it.
here.
This
It's
is
just
basic
sounding more
reality. I don't
ridiculous.
makes flat earthers look bad.
Yeah, exactly. It makes you look
Amen.
bad, bro, because you're trying to explain the unexplainable. You're trying to tell me a ruler is somehow down.
I'm just
How is a
explaining their
ruler down?
model. SE, this is their model.
But you
You have to
can't.
understand their model in order to try to refute it.
You
The way
did
you're
a
trying to
poor job.
refute it isn't the proper way to do so. That's all I'm saying.
I just showed you that you did a poor job explaining their model. I asked you what down is. You drew a ruler into space, bro. You just
I did
became.
not say. Hold on. Don't straw man me, bud. I did not say that down is into space. I said down is that the surface. Down is directly below your feet. The surface is always curving downwards away from any observer, no matter where they're at in their model. And I didn't do a poor job of explaining their model because all of the ball earthers in none of them spoke up and said that I was incorrect. Extremistus had one small contention, which we ironed out very quickly.
So you think by telling me, you still didn't answer the question, bro. On your basketball, where's down? You say that it's the basketball, the hump that blocks the view, and I asked you, where's down? And you drew a line in space, bro. You drew a ruler in space.
I said if you want to establish a datum or a baseline that is like a ruler, right? Did you hear me say that? Down on that basketball is going to be directly towards the center on every point in that basketball in their model. That is down.
Yeah, but if you're on a basketball and you're saying that it's the hump in the middle, the leather of the basketball
I
that
am
blocks
not
your
saying
view, right?
anything. You're saying hump. You're saying down.
You explained our model
Okay,
perfectly,
so
the
what
globe model.
blocks the view? What blocks
What
the
is
view?
what? What blocks the view is the surface of the ball between the two observers.
Which is humping in between the two observers. There's an actual rise of the ball between the two observers, correct?
Right.
If you want to
No
say between the
rise.
two observers and there being a hump, then the ruler, if we're using the ruler as like an eye line, like the direction in which you're trying to establish some sort of straight line, if you're standing on your boat and you were looking perfectly horizontal from down, your line would go off into space like setting a ruler on top of a basketball. Now, if you're talking about looking at another boat in their model, if that boat is hidden and you want to look at that other boat, your ruler would have to intersect with the basketball itself, the surface of the basketball. Thus, your straight line is intersecting or bisecting, going through the surface.
So therefore the shape of the ball between you the two boats, it's what's blocking the view. The actual shape, the actual part of the ball is actually blocking the view in between you, yes?
In their model, that is what they claim.
Okay, so where is the down then on that basketball? In that shape of the basketball, because you said in between the two boats, there's a down, right? So where is that down? On that leather, on that basketball, in between you and me, where you said that that curve is blocking. Where's that down there?
In their model, down is
The
updated.
constant drop of the water, yeah.
Like I said before, down is updated every single step you take. So down is in relation to where you are at on the surface and the center of the ball.
It's towards the center at all points.
Towards the center, and up is anywhere away from the center. Any direction away from the center. And like you said, it is updated every time you take a step. Because on a sphere, every time you take a step, up and down become different. Up and down is relative on a sphere.
So every time you take a step in the water, it changes. Like, do you guys listen to what you're saying? I could understand the ballers, but you, bro?
You were doing this the other
I'm
day with
Tom,
straw man, and
seriously? You believe
you're
this?
saying it
I am,
as a saying, as a figurative speech.
dude, hold on a second. SE, I'm literally just explaining their model. I never at any point said that I believe this is reality. Why? What
Yeah, but you
is your issue,
came
bud?
in to, my issue is you came in to correct me and tell me that my argument is 2016. That's my issue with you.
I said
And
it's
I showed you in their model, it's ridiculous because the down has to be up, and they have to say that the water blocks in between them is up, but there's also constant drop, and you're not getting that. You're drawing rulers in space, Napalm. You're
nope.
not getting it.
What I'm saying is your model is very elementary or 2015 or baby flat earth or baby truth, whatever you want to call it. I'm saying that because you're improperly describing their model to then beat up that straw man, which makes it look ridiculous and is not a good argument.
Amen.
No, but I properly explained it, and you agreed with me every step of the way, right?
Incorrect.
Until
I'm
we
just going to
got to the
disengage.
curve and the drop. Then you saw that, you see, even in their model, shit, he has it right. He's right. Can't happen even in their model. That's what you're not seeing, Napalm.
Who agreed with you?
I didn't agree with
I
you.
don't care who
And I
agrees.
perfectly explained their model. And I don't know how to tell it any other way as to why what you're saying is not a proper articulation of their model, thus not a good refutation of it. I don't know what else to say.
And I think I did a great job in their model, this describability that they have with the hump and the drop. And I think I showed very clearly, even in your state, and between my vote. So that means a drop, that means down. And at the same time, you say there's a hump there. So I think I point very eloquently and very specifically within their model. But hey, people could be the judge. No hard feelings.
That's
Yeah,
the
what are you guys
problem,
talking
SE.
about?
That's part of the problem, SE, is your explanation, understanding of the model disagrees with all of the Globers. We tell you you don't understand it. You keep telling us we're all wrong and you're right.
No, I explained you your model. I can explain it to you perfectly. You think
And
you live on a sphere and water clings around it, and level means a curve, and it means from the distance of that curve. I know your model inside out, bro.
you
But
keep
still,
saying you know our
within your
model,
model,
and the
was I
problem,
wrong in the explanation?
you're wrong. We keep telling you you're wrong. Napalm tells you you're wrong. He explains why you're wrong, and you keep saying everybody else is wrong and you're right. Do you not see that?
Humble yourself, SE.
Well,
I don't
You gotta
care.
humble
unless
yourself up.
unless you have something to point out, right? Let's not just start pitting flat earthers against each other. So if you got something to point out, extremists, point it out in detail, please.
Whoa,
Napalm
no
already
one's.
did.
Yeah, tell me
Napalm
where I'm
already
wrong
did our
in
job for
explaining
us.
your model.
Napalm has
Tell
spent the
me where I'm
last
wrong
10
in explaining. Tell me specifically where I was wrong in explaining your model, extremists.
so
Double drop hump.
the last 15 minutes of Napalm explaining exactly where you're wrong in our model, that went right over your head.
No, I think I explained to him how your model is wrong with water, with curvature, with drops, with humps. Were you not listening? Do you not know how water flows, extremists?
So I put it in the chat that if you're at the beach, you're at sea level, and somebody else is 5 miles away. They're also at sea level. They're on the beach. If there's water between us, it will not flow on our model, even though there's a hump between us. Because both people
Yeah, you got
are at
humping.
sea level.
Say it again. I want people to hear that. Say it again. You got hump of water that doesn't flow. That's beautiful. That's what I want to hear.
So does anybody else on the flat earth side agree with SC? If I am at sea level, 0 altitude, somebody else is at sea level also, 0 altitude, there is 5 miles between us.
The problem
At
is,
zero. Hold on, let me finish.
Okay.
We're still both at sea level, and there is curvature between us. Should water flow between us? According to SE, it should, because there's a hump between us. Does
Our model
anybody
doesn't say
else
that.
agree with SE?
The globe model doesn't say that though.
so the problem is, extremistus, is you're using level in the wrong context. If we look at the definition of level, it doesn't fit with the narrative you just provided.
Oh, hold on. Did I use the word? Hold on. Did I say the word level? I said sea level, so I
Yeah.
specifically said sea level. I did use the word
What's
level.
the difference?
Sea level.
Yeah, but guys, that's not what the argument is. What the argument is, SC is getting our model wrong. Napalm explained to him what our model actually says. Whether or not you believe the model, that's beside the point. You know, that's a sideshow. It's whether or not SC understands our model, even if he doesn't believe it. And it seems Napalm had to correct him on what our model actually says.
I think the issue is the terminology and the lack of logic
No, that's not the issue.
terms.
That's not the issue at all. No one's debating what level means. That's not the debate. The debate is what do we say on our model? And Essie's trying to tell us what our model says, and what Essie's saying is wrong, and someone on your side had to correct them.
He's talking about
says.
He's talking about the logical implications of what you're saying via your model.
I'm going to change what I said, Daiso. Let me rephrase this. I will not use the word level. I am at 0 altitude, perfectly 0 altitude. Somebody else 5 miles away, we're on the beach. Somebody else 5 miles away is also at 0 altitude, no elevation. Should water flow between us on the globe model?
No.
Well, what is SC's answer? What is
She's
SC
asking Dicelo.
Yeah, but the issue isn't between the two. The issue isn't where the two people reside. It's what resides in two people 5 miles apart. You're saying that there's curvature there, and if there's curvature there, that should create some sort of a flow of the water.
Who says that?
But that's not what our model says. The globe model doesn't say that, Dicelo. I understand you don't agree with the globe model, but that isn't the question being posed. The question being posed is, in that scenario, what does the globe model say?
Globe model says that there will be a hump in between those two people at 5 miles apart.
That's not the question you asked, bro. Come on, stop it.
Oh, my specific question is, should water flow between these two people on the globe model?
It's a yes or no question.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a trick question.
It's not a question. You know exactly what the globe says.
He's asking, what does the globe model say? No, the globe model says that no, it shouldn't flow.
Exactly. Yeah. He's not asking what you think.
No, I
know
I
you
understand
think
what the
yes.
globe model says.
You think yes. You think yes.
Addressing,
but the globe model says no.
I'm addressing the lack of. Yeah, I'm just addressing the lack of data and the logical implications of what was stated.
No, that's fine. That's fine. But as I said, that's a sideshow. That isn't what's being argued between extremists and SC, and that isn't what extremists is asking you. You trying to take it into a different conversation.
Okay, I'll back out. My bad.
You can say it's wrong, but my point is, this is what the globe model says. SC disagrees with that. Therefore, he does not understand what the globe model says. That's
So
the
every single
conclusion
time
you
you
draw.
disagree with what the globe model says, then we can point this out as well, right?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, yeah. There's like a million things. I'm just making sure. I'm making sure we're gonna keep that same energy.
Yeah,
That's
well,
not the point.
I
That
just
wasn't the argument. The argument was, of course, you can point out what's wrong, but if you're going to point out what's wrong, then at least define what you're pointing out first. Define what the topic is and define it properly, and then point out what's wrong with it.
Yeah, but the topic, Elasmar, is the globe model, and so what Witzit's asked is completely fair. Like, if we're
No.
discussing,
That's
yeah,
not what I
I'm still
meant. I meant
talking.
that if you
Definitely
want to
didn't stop
poke holes in
talking.
the globe model,
Definitely
no,
haven't
it isn't.
stopped. I hadn't finished. So can
Sorry.
you let me finish? Right.
Sorry.
If we're going to do this in this way, then it has to be consistent. That's Witzit's argument, and that's completely fair.
And I agree. I agree with him.
Yeah.
Well, why did you disagree with him? Just move on.
No, I wasn't talking about him. I wasn't actually talking about him.
So can I?
So it appears what we have here is both sides, both.
Fuzzy, you're cutting in and out,
Both
and
of
your
you
mic's
guys are
crap.
like talking past each other in a way because. Oh God damn it!
No, I don't think they were talking past it. I did have that thought initially, and then I realised what they were talking about is specifically the flow of water. I thought if they were mixing flow of water with visuals, then there would be some sort of element of talking past each other, but I don't think that was actually happening.
Do you understand what I was doing, Crypto?
Yeah, 100%. And to be honest, I agree with
Vision
you.
a
But
hump of what?
yeah, no, I agree with Napalm on this. I just think that the model itself is completely, it's just an assertion, it's, without any evidence.
Right,
Okay.
right. There is no definitive evidence as to the model and this curvature and things tending towards the center of the ball, right? There is no evidence for that, but that is
Right.
what their model is. So in order
Yeah, it's
to
like if you've
refute
got
the model, we need to properly understand it and have arguments that go against the model, not straw man the model.
right. I agree
So
with
Yeah.
How could
here's
you guys
the
not
problem with the
see
model
the
that you're
elephant?
talking. Oh God, is it working? Sorry.
No, we can hear you, Fuzzy. Go ahead.
Okay, so no, part of the problem is that when you both established that it's not that you're talking past each other. It's just that you guys haven't realized that perspective changes when you're now talking about 2 points on the globe.
you. Yeah, Fuzzy.
Right? Like,
I already
yeah.
addressed this.
Oh, sorry.
They're
I
not
was.
talking about visuals. They're talking about the flow of water.
Well, that's my point. Is it like when Essie says that water has to flow up to create a hump or something? It's not that it's creating a hump. It's just that you're going into Muppet vision when you're talking about a hump of water, because the only way that a hump of water exists is if you're looking at it from two different points on a globe from a different perspective outside of the globe.
Hold on. Does perspective affect the way water flows? In other words, if I have one perspective, will water flow different than if I have a different perspective?
No, but the only way to even visualize this is to go into Muppet vision in a model of their own creation of the globe. Like that, you can't. This is a completely hypothetical concept because this doesn't exist. This model doesn't actually exist in reality, and we're arguing over a non-existent model.
I don't
That
think
wasn't the
Yeah,
anybody
question.
else
Extremis,
will agree with that.
your question, his question didn't have anything to do with what he said. Extremis's question had nothing to do with what he said. So when you say that wasn't the question, yeah, his question was ridiculous. So, I mean, he's making a point. And then you said, does perspective change the way water flows? He didn't say that.
You guys are missing the whole point, man. The whole point. In their model, they have constant drop from everywhere.
Yeah,
If you heard what I told them, the two boats, let me finish, please. They have constant drop. That means there's drop between one boat and the other. Try to understand logic. This is not rocket science. In their model now, okay? Now, they also say that those two drops create a hump of water which blocks your vision. Why can't the flat earthers understand this? I know the ballers don't get it.
What the?
Why do the flat earthers do not understand this? Why?
That is not a
Dude,
good argument, dude. If I'm on a basketball and if I'm a little ant and I'm on a basketball, the ground's dropping down and away from me. But as I look out across the basketball, then I'm going to see obstruction. It's going to do both. It's not some type of dichotomy.
I don't know if you were here with it, but I spent a good solid 30 minutes trying to articulate the exact preface or exact globe model and why what he's trying to say is incorrect, and it's a poor argument and makes flat earth look bad, but whatever.
Yeah.
I think we need to those from the graveyard. I'm just saying that this is the QE argument, and it's not good.
This is the
QE argument. Leave two angles. You're not getting it either, Witsit.
Oh my God.
Is there a hump? Yeah. Oh my God. Listen, man.
We're talking
Don't think you know
about
everything, right?
often.
In their model on the basketball, there is a hump blocking the two people. Yes?
That's what we call it.
Yes or no?
No, it's based on the curvature dropping away from you, and you looking out horizontally, then you have a tangent point of obstruction.
It's not a hump.
So
in the
your
form
model
of
afflicts
increase
it
in
too, bro.
elevation.
Your model
yes,
afflicts.
hold on.
Yeah.
Let me ask you
Wow.
this. Let's see. Is a hump is Earth curve or drop or whatever you keep talking? Is that the same thing as a change in elevation?
Earth drop? Yeah, anything that drops from a certain position, right? Yes.
Let me ask it
You
again.
cannot have drop without elevation change.
Ah.
So then,
So we
when
need
we're
to-
talking about the two people, there is no drop between them, SE. If that's how you want to use that terminology, there is no drop.
So you're out of their model now, because in their model,
Nope. You just don't. If, like I said,
there
if we're going to
is
use
drop.
that as the term,
Are you starting to get it now?
no.
Look,
where did you
It's
get
not
this
my lack of
argument? It's not
comprehension
good.
here.
Maybe I can attack this in a different way. So you're saying that the water would flow, right?
Yeah.
SE?
Water flows. If there's elevation
You're
change,
saying it would flow,
water
right? Yes.
flows.
Yes. You're saying it would flow?
Excuse me?
Yeah. Yes or no? Are you saying that the water would flow?
Are you asking if there's elevation change, if water would flow? The answer would be yes.
Yeah. Where to?
Wherever the highest point is. Obviously, it'll flow against that to the lowest point.
Against
Yeah.
lowest point. Yeah.
But where is that lowest point on
Yeah.
the ball?
At the two observers.
That's the whole argument.
That's the problem.
That's the.
He's
That's
talking
the,
about
that,
midway.
You're starting to get it now.
No,
He's talking about midway
I'm
between the
explaining
two
it to you.
observers.
Like on their model, it would flow straight down, i.e., nowhere.
Exactly. So you're in
It's not
fantasy
going
land,
anywhere then.
right?
So it doesn't go anywhere then.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
listen to what you believe.
Yeah, but SC, Crypto isn't saying he believes in that or he thinks that's right. You know, I bet you Crypto thinks that sounds stupid and, you know, fanciful, but he's just saying that's what the model says. He doesn't agree with it though, right, Crypto?
But it doesn't
Yeah,
work
exactly.
even in the model.
Yeah,
It does.
in the model, the water would flow directly downwards, i.e., towards the center of a ball, and it can't do that because there's other water and other shit in the way, so it wouldn't go anywhere.
We're talking about the surface here.
That's how gravity works.
If you
About-
just want to isolate the surface, you're straw manning the model. That's the whole point. I mean, I
Yeah.
didn't even hear all of it, and I'm already really annoyed. So
It is annoying. It's been going on for half an
You're
hour.
gonna get more annoyed. Stick around. Stick around. You're gonna get more annoyed. Look at what Earth is Life posted, 1149. See that? That's their model. Now look where they have dropped from. Look what you're believing. Is this what you believe, guys? Flat earthers now, not the ballers.
well, no one said we
1149.
believe.
Is that what you
None
believe?
of us. None of us
No.
believe. None of us believe in the globe, man. We're just saying
I
that
believe
you're
that's their
referring to the
model.
globe. Yeah.
I believe
So you
that
don't
that's their model.
get the water argument.
I don't think it's good argument,
You guys
dude.
are dumb, not
There's something wrong with
understanding
this
this,
guy.
and
Have you even dropped in your head,
bullshit.
bro?
Have you been dropped on your head? Bro?
Hey,
No one
come
is
on.
saying
Can you leave
Don't
it?
need to insult.
Lesnar, what the fuck's wrong with you? You do this all the time.
Yeah, we don't
Don't
need the
insult.
personal attacks, guys.
From either
So
person.
Essie, here's the
Wow,
thing.
Man, it's getting annoying.
which way does water flow?
Nobody's keeping you
Towards the
here. If
center
you're
of
annoyed,
mass.
man, step out.
Towards the center of mass.
Who asked? You're asking me to step out? Who asked me to? Is that what you want? You want me to step
No,
out?
no, 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 no. I'm talking about the other guys that are getting annoyed with your contention. I'm saying nobody's keeping them here. We're having a discussion. We don't necessarily have to agree, but we're trying to get to a conclusion here. Just let it roll. That's all I'm saying. It
Yeah,
has
we got
nothing to do with
insulting.
attacking you. Yeah, they're personally attacking you, and I don't necessarily agree with that. Whether they feel it's dumb or not, it doesn't give credence to be able to attack somebody like that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
as he said, y'all, you guys are dumb first, right? And then that guy responded. It doesn't matter. Okay, I just jumped in, but
Thank
obviously,
you.
what I'm hearing is that you're saying that it's a contradiction because it can't flow in two different ways at the same time. Okay, but on their model, it goes to center of mass. That
It
is
doesn't
fine.
matter. That doesn't save them because they have both drop. They have drop, two drops becoming a hump. Do you guys not understand that? And when they show
Drop.
you a ball, you don't see no drops. You just see a hump in between them. You see that? What Earth is Life posted?
Yeah, yeah. Do you now
That's what
draw
they
an arrow
envision.
down? Now he needs to draw an arrow down from the surface towards the center of mass, and the water is supposedly all being pulled there.
Yeah. It's flowing
Drop.
nowhere. That's the whole point.
Yeah, drop. This term drop. I don't know if there's a if it's being used properly or incorrectly, but drop is relative to each observer. Drop is relative to each point on the surface, and it's constantly updating every step you take on the globe model. So when you say drop,
Okay, where's the drop in the picture that Earth is Life posted? Where's the drop in the picture 49 after the hour? Where's the drop
I'm not looking at
between
it.
the two boats?
I'm not looking at it because I'm cleaning my pool. But I would have to say, if he has an observer on a ball, drop would be directly down from that observer. If he places a second observer, then we would have to be really accurate as to which observer we're talking about and relation of drop to that specific observer. In relation to both of them, they are both technically within the globe model at the same elevation.
Drop is perspective based.
So then how, okay, what would drop, what would block the view then? This is where you guys, flat earthers are not understanding. What would block the view then?
Bro,
The
what
view
drops
would be
you is the
blocked
tangent
by the
point.
curvature of the earth in between them. This is where I said, remember, if you place the ruler on top of the basketball, meaning this is the observer on the top, and their eye line, if they look straight, meaning perpendicular to plumb, that would go off into space. So if you want to talk about two observers not seeing each other, place two rulers on there. Those rulers aren't actually intersecting. It's not a straight line. So in order to have what you would call this hump, both observers would have to be looking slightly downward. That ruler would bisect or intersect the surface of the basketball, go through it in order to attach those 2 points. The part of the basketball that it's cutting through would be the obstruction in their model.
So there would have to be, so you're saying water is blocking the view, right? The water that's not elevated
Yes,
between them, right?
correct.
That's, but do you see where your fault lies, bro? Right there.
Nope.
You just said it.
Because what you said there, the water that's not elevated between them, they're on the same elevation. In their model, the elevation is a curvature, meaning one elevation, zero elevation, the surface of the water, mean sea level, forms a sphere in their model. So when you
Correct.
say elevation, there is no elevation change between the two of them. The surface, the geometry of it is what obstructs them.
So
But
there's no drop
that's what he's talking about. He's
and there's
talking
no
about
hump.
midway.
But water,
I was trying to
Go
straw
on,
man you, see.
bro.
I was talking about the point midway between the two observers having a difference in elevation. If it's
It does
blocking
it
their
on their
view,
model,
Yes.
though.
but
Look, dude, it does it on their model because
I
elevation is
understand that.
determined relative to sea level. On their
I
model,
understand
it's
that.
all being relative to the center of mass.
I
Dude, there's a
understand that.
million ways to destroy the globe. It's not by strawmanning the globe, though.
I'm not trying to straw man the globe here. I'm simply stating that it's illogical.
Yeah, but if the if the level is
That's what
set
they
by
don't
the curvature, you can't then
see,
say
bro.
that
They
the
don't see that it's not a straw man.
yeah. So if the level is set by the curvature, you can't then say that the curvature is deviating from that level because that is the level.
What is
Yes.
level? What's the definition of level?
So where's
Yeah,
your drop?
they're saying sea level though, aren't they? They're defining it in a specific way.
Yeah,
But
now you're
Dysel,
attacking
that's
the
a
model
different
as a
argument.
flat earther. We're flat earthers, dude. We agree that level is actually horizontal in reality. They hijack that and pretend it's curved. That's not the point, though. The point is that you can't say elevation change and then accurately represent their model because the elevation of 0 is curving according to them.
But they can't have it both ways. They can't have a drop and a hump. Why can't you see that? This is where your logic gets broken right here. They want to have it both ways, but you can't even see that in their model.
First of all, I think you should drop those terms, drop and hump, when you're trying to do this argument to begin with, first of all. So it's a drop in relation to what? The problem is their model is illogical. Their level is curved, but you can't just say that the globe is wrong because X, Y, and Z and straw man their model. You can't
Yeah.
do that.
You're basically what you're doing is you're strawmanning the
Not a
globe by
straw man,
treating
bro.
you all. It is. You're treating the globe as if level is horizontal in the globe model, and it's not.
No, I'm putting water in reality in their model, right? And I'm using their terminology. They say that no matter where you are on this surface of this sphere, this constant curvature. And then I ask him, I put two boats on the water and I ask him, is there constant curvature between the two boats? They say yes. Then I ask him, what's blocking your view? And they say the water. So now, if you guys don't understand that simple concept, I don't know what to tell you, man. Two drops cannot make a
Furthermore,
hump.
yeah. Furthermore, their model would have to be logically consistent. Otherwise, they don't have a model. That's the whole point that I'm making. It's you can't call it a model if it's illogical.
But it is consistent within their model. This is so annoying to me, dude.
These are two different arguments. It's two different arguments, right? Whether their model is or is not logical is completely different as to the argument of
I agree.
straw manning their model to then say it's illogical.
Right. I
These are
agree.
two different
I agree.
arguments.
It's not a straw man, man. Why can't you guys see that's their model?
Dude,
I'm explaining their model.
See, I've already boiled it down why it's a straw man specifically. You're saying elevation as in a distance above a horizontal, which means you're straw manning their level, which is not horizontal. So you can't use the word elevation. You can't say drop built and then build that upon the idea of elevation, meaning that on a globe the elevation changes as you go forward because it drops. No, in their model, the elevation doesn't change as you go forward as it quote unquote drops because that level is the water curving and the elevation is a measurement above that. It's all relative.
For the sake of common ground, I agree with that. But in all reality, you can't have a model based on a logicalness that can never be substantiated. It's not a model by
we know
definition.
that. Like Dyslo,
Okay.
that's fine. That's completely true. Like, and Napalm's been saying that since I got in here, right? So it's like if I say, well, I've got this model of a dragon and it breathes fire and blah blah blah, and then you say, oh, well, if it breathes ice, then X, Y, and Z. It's like, well, no, the model is that it breathes fire, right? You can't then say, oh, well, if it breathes ice, then X, Y, and Z. Well, now you're strawmanning it, right? This is the whole point: is no one's saying that the dragon really exists, right? None of the flat earthers are saying that the dragon really exists.
I got you.
No, you're not getting it, bro. And the dragon analogy is this. Hold on, bro. The dragon analogy is this. That the dragon breathes both fire and water, right? This is the analogy
No,
here.
because it's my
They're
analogy.
having it both ways and you're not getting it. They're saying that there's
No.
both drop in between the two people and a hump. Now, you guys are not seeing a very elementary thing here. I don't know how else to say it.
How many flat earthers and prominent ones at that are you going to gaslight today, SE? Seriously.
I'm not gaslighting anybody. That's their model. Now, you either accept it or you don't. They say 2 drops make a hump. They say it over and over. We
Wait,
got it from Soundly. We got it from a whole bunch of people.
So you just said something that was incorrect. You said there's 2 drops between them. That's illogical. That's not what it is. There's a point in this where he's going to understand what we're saying, and I want to identify that spot that maybe it would become clear, because see, you've got this double drop hop thing, double hump drop, whatever, double drop hump is incorrect. There's nothing to that.
Okay, let's do a 2-minute thing, me and you. Okay, you want to do it on a canal?
Well,
a canal that's 5 miles long and it has 2 doors at either end. It's level. You want to go through it and see how your model will double speak? I think I can make you double speak within the next minute.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that conversation. Let's just stick with Bob and Alice. From Alice's perspective, the surface is falling away from her in all directions, and Bob is down the way. Right? You go to Bob's perspective. Now he's on top, and the surface is falling away, and Alice is below him from his horizontal. There's no contradiction there. Well, there's no contradiction there.
Look.
No, there's not. No, there's
I'll
not.
show it to you if you give me 30 seconds. Okay.
Yeah.
We're in the moat, right? We're in the canal. I'm on one side, you're on the other, right? It's very calm, the canal, right? Now, I'm on one side. I'm looking at you. How is the water behaving between us?
It's falling away from you, and I am below you. I'm below your horizontal.
The water is falling away from me, and you're below me, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So
you're
there's
on top.
no flow.
No flow.
There's a change in elevation. If I was to look from the side, I'd see me on top and you, right?
No change in elevation. No.
So to be one thing here, below horizontal,
you see,
not below in elevation. Guys? Hold on. Let me say that again. Below horizontal, not below in elevation.
Exactly. That's what
so
I'm saying.
below.
That's what I thought that would clear it all up. Dude,
so you accept that, Winston?
You're basing it. I don't accept
you're with
the globe.
that.
I'm not in. Dude, SE, why do you keep reverting back to pretending I believe in the globe somehow? Like, no, I just know what the globe says, and then I know why it's wrong. And the whole QE paradox of 2 people looking at each other and it dropping away from both of them is retarded. This is not a good argument. I'm sorry. That's my opinion. Like, it doesn't. What you're doing is you're taking distances above or below a horizontal. You're like, oh, look at the distance above this horizontal. But on the globe, there isn't a horizontal. Okay, that's the difference. So what you're saying, drop and hump and all this is all relative to an individual person and their perspective, and it's going to be different for the other person on the other side of this quote unquote hump. Us looking in Muppet vision, like Fuzzy said, where we step outside and draw cartoons that are curving. That isn't how it works though in their model. When they're looking from person to person,
it's like you're still model afflicted, bro.
Oh my god. No,
sounds
I just
like
know
you're still
why,
model afflicted, like for real.
I know why the globe is wrong, and there's things that go in the globe Earth basket, the flat Earth basket, and then the both basket. And technically, I don't even put this in the both basket because sea level is horizontal, but they're not saying that. So you can't use horizontal sea level to critique the globe because that's not what the globe says.
That's not what I'm doing, bro. You're not understanding the logic behind it, right? Because you're too far in the model, right? I'm going in their model. Their model both states that there's drop everywhere, right? Now, in order for that to happen, there has to be a drop between 2 boats. Now, if you don't understand,
not between 2 boats.
Block, bro. That's your mental block.
It's not between 2 boats.
Wait,
it's not between 2 boats.
Wait, let me do this. Essie, what are you basically saying is, again, the same thing QE said a few years ago when then the whole VC just didn't say anything. It's like, so we draw a picture of a ball, okay, and we see the curve. There's a boat on the left side and a boat on the right side, or a person standing on both sides. So for the person on the left side, the Earth's dropping down away from them, and on the right side, the Earth's dropping down away from them. So basically, that's a paradox because they would both be going down away from them into the center, right? You would be drawing a loop down in the center from both ways. That is not a good argument, dude. It's not. The drop is just relative to the observer. This is the same argument that QE brought up a few years ago. And I tried to tell him, dude, you got to stop. So this is not, it's not the move. Like, do you know, is that what you're saying? That if I draw a stick figure on the ball on the left and on the right, if it's going to go down from the person on the left and it's going down and away from the person on the right, then those are going to meet in the middle, sinking down. So they can't both be having the same thing. The globe paradox, as he called it.
Listen, dude, I don't care about QE's argument. I'm talking about my argument, right?
You're using the same argument.
In their model. No, that's my argument. I don't care about what QE said. This is my argument. I've been talking about this for years. It started off with the skateboard paradox, right? In their model, there's curvature. In their model, there's curvature all around you. From every person, there's constant curvature. Every point you are. So now, if you have two boats on the water facing each other, there has to be drop in between them in their model.
They're never facing each other.
Oh,
in their
you're
model.
saying no. You're going to say no. Hold on. You're going to show me a basketball, right? And there's a curve. Now the water flows backwards in those boats, and they say there's drop in between them, but there's not. There's a hump which says blocks their view. Now, if you guys can't understand that, that's not on me, man. That's on you guys.
Horrible with this, bro.
Stop throwing the you can't understand in there, because like I'm trying not to just like completely shit on this. I'm trying to be chill, okay? But Napalm just answered you. In their model, they're not looking at each other. On the globe, the people are both looking up towards space. You can't draw a horizontal to each other through the curved Earth. Say it's dropping down away from them because they're looking at each other. Therefore, it's dropping down from both persons.
That's my whole point, dude.
Oh my God.
That's my whole point.
Let's see, maybe
oh my
repeat
God,
it again.
yeah.
Bro.
Usually I don't do this.
Forget it, man.
But you've been doing it to everybody in the room.
Afflicted.
Esty, you don't understand. You don't understand their model.
Thank you, man.
Therefore, you are
Understand, man.
strong their model with a horrible argument
man.
based on your lack of comprehension. Sorry, don't normally do that,
No,
but I'm
understand.
justified here.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't care, bro. You can say whatever you want.
I mean, Essie, like if a bunch of people
open to the idea of thinking like, oh, maybe I misunderstood it or something, like, because if not, then this is just going to go on all day, and we can just leave it be, right? Because like, I can assure you that on their model, everything goes down, water goes down to the center of mass, therefore it's not moving. Level is curved, so elevation is relative to level, right? The sea level, a distance above that. So if you go from one person to the other, sure, there's a drop, but in their model, you can't classify that drop as having anything to do with what we call elevation, because they say elevation is distance above sea level that's actually curved, okay? This is a fundamental part of their model. Sure, it's bullshit. They hijack all horizontal aspects of life and then claim it's actually curving. You just can't tell. That's the argument, but not to just say that their model contradicts itself. No, it just said it's
It does,
it's an
because
unfounded claim, but it's not a contradiction.
It's by putting people on their model here on Earth, right, in a canal, right, and they have to say the craziest things. Now, if you guys can't understand that, that's on you. Before somebody told me that the water drops in between two people and at the same time causes blockage. Now, if your brains are not equipped to pick up that information,
right, that's enough,
that's not
dude.
my
Honestly,
man.
Honestly, that's enough. If you're going to try to insinuate and sit here and gaslight people, insinuate that we lack the comprehension to understand your straw man. Seriously.
He just did that to me.
Passing on
Why
it.
didn't you talk to him when he said it?
I just
Genius.
feel like
Why didn't you talk to Witsit?
if somebody's
Wait,
making
can
a bad
other flat
argument,
earthers please? Can other flat earthers please jump in and
if somebody
tell?
if somebody's making a bad argument, it's like and a bunch of people like call you out on that and they feel that way, you know.
He's wrong. All
I
right.
guess you could get insulted by that, but also, I mean, for me, I would rather hear you fucking be all about a ball than fucking strawman the wrong shit and make us look like we don't know what the fuck we're talking about. But that's just me.
Anything that ventures toward the straw man of the globe is like kryptonite to flat Earth, because the whole entire narrative is that flat earthers don't understand the globe. That's why I think it's flat. They're just a bunch of stupid people that think stuff like, well, water flat, and they just don't understand the globe model. They think we should fill the spin. That's the whole entire argument against flat Earth. So anything that ventures towards a straw man of the globe model fulfills that depiction of flat earthers. That's like, we should stay away from anything that strawmans the model like it's freaking the plague.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, you mean like nonsense of the space around us somehow makes the gyroscope turn, stuff like that? Witsit?
That's not strawmanning their model. That's accurately representing Newtonian mechanics. So I actually read what Newton said. So whatever, dude. That's a perfect example. Actually, I'm having to correct the Globers because they're strawmanning their own model because they don't understand Newtonian and Einsteinian mechanics. And Newton said that space was fixed, and if it's not, then they have to concede, according to Newtonian mechanics, that a stationary Earth is possible and it would cause the drift. That has nothing to do with this. That's not a straw man. You can go read Newtonian mechanics, read his physics, look at his equations, and that proves my point. Just like when they looked at the galaxy rotational speeds being too fast and it didn't match Newtonian mechanics because it's supposed to get slower as it gets further from the center. And then whenever you use F equals ma, it only yields 1/10 the magnitude needed. So Newtonian mechanics didn't work there. There's like Newtonian mechanics doesn't work. Their paradigm of shooting stuff into space, they say, oh, we use Newtonian mechanics for satellites. Whenever they use geostationary satellites, they have to account for a real centrifugal force. So they're actually having to treat it like the Earth is at rest and everything's moving around it to even supposedly shoot these satellites in space. That's a death blow to their model. That rips their little pseudoscientific heart out from the core. That's an amazing argument. That's in no way analogous to this.
Exactly.
You're kidding me, right? Water, the way water flows, the examples that I gave you, it's like it boggles my mind, man.
Bro, if I was on the fence and all I heard was SE, I would definitely be a Glober, dude. This is terrible. Stop doing this, man. Why are you hating on everyone?
I'm not. They're hating on me. I'm telling them that in model, the
No, I don't think
water
anybody wants. No one
explanation
wants
is
it.
ridiculous.
I think there's a
You're
lot of
telling
like
us-
a lot of people like you.
dude.
SE.
It has nothing to do with
I can
hate.
feel that. Okay, and no one's trying to hate on you. You know what I mean? I think that's.
I'm actually
I think
trying to be very selective with my words to not hate on you. Like when I came in here, all I heard you was telling all the flat earthers that they lack the ability to comprehend what you're saying, right? So it's you that's doing that. Like we can even agree to disagree. I would like to point out, though, on a positive note, like the Globers should take note here. Okay, this is where flat earthers are not agreeing. So a group of flat earthers think another flat earther is making an argument improperly, and they're correcting them. You guys should take notes. That doesn't. Now, what you guys would do is all go on mute and sit back and watch them make the argument, and then jump in and white knight for them.
Yeah,
Right?
do you know how beautiful this is for me? Do you know how beautiful
I'm
this
not
is to watch and listen to?
I'm not connecting you. Don't try to play the high ground here. I'm connecting you guys. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, Witsit, I'm glad you brought that up because I was actually going to say you can see the comments in the chat. Some of the Globers are saying stuff like, we're imploding, right? And all this kind of stuff. And it's like, well, they like to put us in the position where we can be criticized either way. And this is exactly, I've talked about this before, but it kind of gets ignored or brushed under the carpet. They want to criticize us either way. When we all agree, we're just an echo chamber. We just all follow like our chosen whoever, right? But then when we disagree, we're imploding and we don't have a common understanding, right? So it's like either way, no matter what happens, They like to criticize, which in itself is dishonest.
Can I say something? Can I say something from a globe perspective? Since I've been in here, I've seen flat earthers fight each other a lot more than you've been arguing with me, for example. And a few times when I've engaged and started an argument with one of you,
You've been destroyed
another
every single time. That's why.
no, another flat earther has jumped in, and then suddenly it's turned into an argument between flat earthers instead of a debate between. Do you understand what I mean?
But that's my
I'm
point. That's my point, though. Listen
Yeah.
carefully. This is my point. My point is that when the Globers say stupid stuff, right, like mass attracts mass, and then I try to teach them that they don't even know what that means, and that that's not their motto, and there's a reason why that can't be their motto anymore, and that if you went with Newtonian mechanics, then here's what's wrong with it. Whenever the Globers say things that are wrong, all the other Globers don't say anything. They don't correct them. They just go on mute, and then they'll actually jump off mute to white knight for that person. Whereas opposed to flat earthers are just trying to figure out what's really going on. And if they think someone else on their side, because we're not in a cult, if they say something wrong, then we correct them. That's my whole point.
Yeah. And then I built on that.
Check this out. I
by saying that
posted
we're
something,
always
guys. Let's stop
in the-
arguing.
I see. Come on, man. I was talking.
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
and
I said I was. Go ahead.
Right, yeah. So anyway, I then built on that and said that the Globers are going to always criticize us, regardless of what we do. So we can't take that criticism seriously because it's not honest.
It's ridiculous.
Okay. I posted a picture at 17 past the hour. Can you guys have a look at that?
We're not. I think we're well past that. If it's a picture about two observers and some surface between them, I think we're well past that. I don't think we need to belittle the point any longer. I mean, literally, this all started because
Wow.
I
Yes,
stepped
Your
in.
Highness. I salute you. Yes, Ballmaster.
Well, SC, come on, man. Like, we're trying to make it where it's not this big thing, but it's like, you said, Napalm said it for 30 minutes before I came in here. I'm already just so far beyond over it. Like, yes, your picture shows an outside view of the Earth. Now, put yourself in perspective of each of these little things on the ball, okay? It looks like it drops down. It's dropping down away from each person, right? And then it's going to look like there's a physical obstruction of curvature. Now, not really for these things because they're way too tall on this ball. It's not to scale at all, but it doesn't matter. The point is that when you go into the perspective of each person, that's what you're not getting. That's the disconnect. You're stepping outside and looking at it from a holistic Muppet vision perspective, and then you're like, okay, look, draw these lines. Elevation changes. Elevation doesn't change in the globe model at sea level. Sea level is zero elevation everywhere on the globe. Now, if you want to step away and say, well, technically, if you looked at it from space, there would be an elevation change. If you started from one point and then it drops down, that's going below it. Okay, but that's not how we quantify elevation on the Earth. We measure above sea level. They claim that sea level is curving. So you can't draw horizontals from person to person, claim they're looking right at each other, and that it's dropping in all directions and there's elevation changes. That's not what their model says. Okay, and that's like the 15th time, bro. So, like, we'll have to agree to disagree if you want to go down with it. This is my good faith suggestion. Like, I would retire the argument. I'm not saying you took it from QE or anything, but I'm just saying it's the same argument. And I told QE the same thing. I'm like, why are you like I wanted to ask him if he was J-Trig, because I'm like, why are you sending this cartoon around as if that's what we think? So I just disagree like vehemently with this idea. I think that there are a million different ways to debunk the globe. If
Hold
you're
on,
like,
which way was
good.
what was the Alice and Bob one with the water dropping you're talking about?
Yes, meeting in the middle,
Oh
like there's like some
God.
abyss it's so bad, dude. It's like it makes us look bad. I'm not trying to be ugly. I'm just saying, like, that's just so retarded. If the argument here should be like, wait. So okay, and if what sea level really is horizontal. So we would have elevation changes. You guys are claiming that the sea level isn't horizontal, but you're treating it as if it's horizontal all over the entire Earth to get your elevation, and you're taking that horizontal and extending it adjacent to land masses and then measuring a perpendicular vertical distance above that horizontal. So you want your cake and you want to eat it too. You want to use everything as if it's horizontal and then just claim, oh, it's actually curved. Like, that would
Well, you
be
know
the
what
argument.
happened?
That is the argument. That is the argument. But you guys are not seeing it. That's the beginning.
Oh God.
That's how it starts. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
Oh man.
I still love you.
This is a good way to
They
distract
got you
and make us
believing
look
that
like
you
a
can
bunch of
have.
total morons.
They got you believing that you can have a change from level without having water flow. This is what they got you believing, and you're affirming the model as well.
No.
They're
You're not
not
even
saying
don't
there's a
believe
change
that.
in
No,
the
they're
willing
not.
water
to
level.
entertain my
Hold on,
argument that in the
SE.
model.
No, they're not. They're describing
Hold
they're
on, my friend.
describing our
I know.
they're describing our model
Yeah.
accurately, but that doesn't mean that's what they believe is going on. I understand what they do.
SE, they're not saying there's a change in the water or a flow in water with they're not saying it changes level. I forgot what I was going to say because left lane went.
I apologize.
Yeah, but you guys are not understanding. When I have this argument with them, I put him in a canal, right? I put him in a canal. And we all know that a canal is level and horizontal. There's no change in elevation there, right? And
Well,
then
that's
I
the
asked them,
argument. Then that's
tell
what you would
me,
have to argue with them because they're not going to agree to that. That's not their model. They're not going to agree to that. So you'd have to start there
but
with
they
the
agree.
argument.
I see
They
in their
do agree
model
to
there
that.
is no change of elevation in that situation. That is correct. But the no change in elevation still means curvature in their model.
That's
And
my
it's
whole
retarded.
point. That's where
All right, can we move on?
you guys don't understand. That's the whole.
Oh my god, dude. Don't say we
Yeah,
don't
we
Yeah,
understand.
no,
Yeah,
Seriously.
we
with
don't
our don't
understand.
understand thing
Nope,
again.
I don't. Yep, I don't understand. And okay, so can we move on? Sorry,
Yeah.
this is just really redundant. Like,
Yeah.
did anyone see? Maybe no one saw, but in my stream last night, what I did was I went from their perspective, from their paradigm, and I showed that if you believe what they say, they claim that they use Newtonian mechanics to put satellites into orbit, right? And so then they have geostationary satellites that just sit there, as in they're moving perfectly with the Earth, right? What's so funny is if you look at the math they claim that they do. Now, I don't even believe all the story of satellites, but I am starting to find some very interesting things. You could put stuff in the sky, get it to go kind of fast, and then utilize the fact that the sky moves and you can stay up there, which is very interesting. Nothing to do with the ball. But anyway, this is very funny because whether they're actually up there or not, either way, they had to do this just to make the math work, like just to even in